Hello, my friend, and welcome to English Phrases Hub, the podcast where we turn everyday English into something practical, fun, and easy to remember. I'm your host, Jake, and I'm truly excited that you've joined me today. Wherever you are in the world, commuting to work, cleaning your house, taking a walk, or maybe just relaxing, I invite you to take a little mental vacation with me. That's right. This episode is going to be a bit special. We're diving into something that's close to my heart, travel. But not just any travel story. Today, I'm going to describe my dream vacation in vivid detail. The twist? I'll be traveling alone, a solo journey. Just me, my thoughts, and the world waiting to be explored. I'll take you step by step through the experience. From packing my bags to touching down in a new country. From walking hidden streets to tasting local food I've never tried before. You'll feel like you're right there with me every moment of the way. And while we're dreaming of faraway places and quiet sunsets, you'll also be learning real, useful travel vocabulary. Words and phrases you can use for your own trips, conversations, or English writing. I'll explain each key phrase at the end of the story, so don't worry about taking notes. I'll leave you a worksheet in the description with all the new vocabulary and phrases we'll be learning today, plus some simple exercises to help you practice and remember them. Just relax and enjoy the journey. If you're someone who loves learning English through stories, or if you're curious about what it's like to travel solo, especially to a place you've never been before, this episode is for you. You see, I believe that language and travel have something in common. They both expand our world. They show us new ways of thinking, feeling, and connecting. And even if we can't travel physically right now, we can still travel with our imagination and with language. So take a deep breath, let go of the noise around you, and get ready for a peaceful escape, a little storytelling, and a lot of natural English along the way. Don't forget to click the subscribe and like buttons on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps support the show and lets me know you're enjoying the content. Now, let's begin our dream vacation. It's early morning. The sky is still dark, and I'm standing outside my apartment with my backpack and suitcase, feeling a mix of excitement and nervous energy. I'm about to leave for my dream vacation, a solo trip to Italy. I double-check my travel documents, passport, boarding pass, hotel confirmation, and hop into a taxi. The streets are quiet, and the city still feels half asleep. As we drive, I think about everything I packed the night before. Clothes for warm weather, my travel guide, a small journal, and, of course, a good pair of walking shoes. When I arrive at the airport, the lights inside are bright. There's a buzz in the air. People wheeling suitcases, hugging loved ones, grabbing coffee before early flights. I head straight to the check-in counter, hand over my passport, and soon I'm through security and at my gate, waiting to board. I take a deep breath. This is it. The adventure begins. The flight from my home city to Rome takes about 10 hours. I watch movies, listen to music, and try to nap. But honestly, I'm too excited to sleep. I keep looking out the window, imagining the moment I finally arrive. When the plane begins to descend, I see the city from above. Sun-kissed rooftops, narrow streets, and ancient ruins. It looks like a painting. At the arrivals hall, I collect my luggage and follow the signs to the taxi area. I hop in, give the driver my hotel address, and we're off. Rome greets me with warm sunlight and old-world charm. As we drive through the city, I see stone fountains, cafes with outdoor tables, and scooters weaving through traffic. Everything looks straight out of a movie. When we reach the hotel, I check in, drop off my bags, and step out again almost immediately. I want to feel the streets beneath my feet. The air smells like fresh bread and roasted coffee. People are chatting in Italian, laughing, enjoying life. And for the first time in a long time, I feel completely present. No work emails, no schedule, just this moment. Solo travel gives you something special. Freedom, curiosity, a deep connection to the world around you. And this is only the beginning. The sun rises over Rome, and light pours through the curtains of my hotel window. I wake up early, full of excitement. Today is my first full day in the Eternal City, and I have a lot to explore. After a quick espresso at the hotel cafe, I head out with my camera and a small city map in my pocket. My first stop? The legendary Colosseum. Walking there feels like stepping back in time. I pass quiet alleyways, street vendors setting up stalls, and buildings older than I can imagine. When I finally reach the Colosseum, I'm speechless. It's enormous. The stone walls are weathered but powerful, like they're telling thousands of stories in silence. I join a small guided tour, and we walk through the Roman Forum too, once the center of political life in ancient Rome. My guide tells stories of emperors, gladiators, and lost civilizations. I snap a few photos, but mostly I just take it in with my own eyes. Later in the afternoon, the sun is hot, and I decide to cool off with some gelato. I find a small family-run gelateria tucked into a quiet street. I order a cone with 2 flavors, pistachio and lemon. The first bite? Incredible. Creamy, fresh, sweet. It tastes like summer. I sit outside on a little stone bench and people watch. Tourists walk by with maps and cameras. Locals chat in fast, passionate Italian. A child chases pigeons across the square. After finishing my gelato, I decide to ask for directions to the Trevi fountain. I walk up to a friendly-looking woman near a shop and say, "Scusi, dove la fontana di Trevi?" She smiles, points to the left and says, "5 minuti a piedi." 5 minutes on foot. Even with just a few words, I feel like I'm connecting. That's what I love about travel, the small human moments. As I turn the corner, I hear the fountain before I see it, the sound of water rushing, splashing into marble pools. I finally arrive and stand in front of it, amazed. The Trevi fountain is even more beautiful than in photos. I toss in a coin over my shoulder and make a wish. That night, I walk back to the hotel with tired feet but a full heart. Rome is history, beauty, and magic, all at once. It's early in the morning, and I'm standing on the platform at Roma Termini, the main train station in Rome. The air is cool, and I'm holding a warm croissant and a small espresso as I wait for the high-speed train to Florence. Today's adventure is a day trip to one of Italy's most beautiful and artistic cities. I find my seat next to the window and settle in. The train glides out of the station, and we're soon racing past green hills, olive trees, and small villages. It's peaceful. I listen to music, stare out the window, and think, how lucky I am to be here. In just under 2 hours, I arrive at Firenze Santa Maria Novella station. I step off the train, stretch, and start walking toward the city center. Florence is breathtaking. Every building looks like a painting. I visit the Uffizi Gallery, where I see works by Botticelli and Michelangelo. I rent an audio guide which helps me understand the stories behind each painting. It's like walking through history. After the museum, I find a small restaurant near the Duomo. The waiter recommends the bistecca alla fiorentina, a famous Tuscan steak. It's juicy, rich, and full of flavor. I order a side of roasted vegetables and sparkling water, and I eat slowly, enjoying every bite. But the day isn't perfect. I accidentally miss my walking tour because I lose track of time. I feel a little annoyed. But I remind myself this is travel. Mistakes happen. So instead of stressing, I find a quiet piazza, sit down, and enjoy the atmosphere. I write in my travel journal and watch the world go by. Later, I make sure to double-check the train schedule. I get back to the station just in time and board the train back to Rome. As the train rolls through the countryside, I think about the day, the art, the food, the mistake, the recovery. It was all part of the journey. And I smile. It's my last stop in Italy. And honestly, it feels like I've saved the most magical place for the end. I'm in Venice. Just saying the name feels romantic, doesn't it? Venice, a city built on water, full of stories, secrets, and slow beauty. The moment I step off the train at Venezia Santa Lucia, something changes. I don't hear the usual sounds of traffic. No cars, no honking horns, just the soft splash of water, oars dipping in and out, the occasional echo of footsteps on stone bridges. I pause for a moment right outside the station. The Grand Canal stretches out in front of me like a moving painting. Boats glide past, reflections shimmer on the water, and everything feels still and alive at the same time. I buy a ticket and board a Vaporetto, Venice's version of a city bus, except it sails. As we cruise down the Grand Canal, I pass by elegant palaces with faded pink facades, charming old churches, and narrow side canals disappearing into the maze of the city. There are no traffic lights here, just water, light, and centuries of quiet history. And then, the moment I've been waiting for. I spot a gondola docked by a quiet canal. I walk over, and the gondolier, in a striped shirt and straw hat, gives me a friendly nod. I hop in. As we move through the smaller canals, the city becomes almost silent. The gentle swish of the oar in the water, the soft creak of the wooden boat, it's like the city is whispering. I lean back, take a long breath, and look up. Laundry hangs between windows. Cats nap on windowsills. Flowers spill out of tiny balconies. Everything feels personal, close, untouched by time. This city is alive, but it's not rushing. It teaches you how to slow down. After the ride, I decide to explore on foot. I spend hours wandering through alleyways that twist and turn like a dream. Every turn brings something unexpected. A tiny bookstore filled with old Italian novels, a hidden courtyard with ivy-covered walls, a quiet square where locals sip espresso and talk with their hands. I find a small artisan shop selling hand-blown glass. The colors inside sparkle like candy. Blues, golds, deep reds. I pick out a few souvenirs. A delicate glass charm, a painted carnival mask, and a little gondola figurine. I even buy a postcard to send to myself, something I've started doing on every trip. A message from my travel self to my future self. As the day fades, I settle into a cozy cafe by the canal. I order a creamy cappuccino and a slice of tiramisu. Soft, sweet, a little bitter, a lot perfect. The waiter brings it with a smile and a quiet, "Prego." I sit back, sip slowly, and watch the city change colors. The sky turns golden, then rose, then deep violet. Light dances on the water. I open my travel journal for the last time this trip and begin writing, not just where I went or what I saw, but how I felt, what surprised me, what made me smile when I thought I'd be frustrated, what I'll remember long after I've returned home. I think about Rome, loud, ancient, beautiful. Florence, artistic, graceful, a place that invites you to feel everything deeply. And now Venice, soft, slow, reflective, like a gentle goodbye. Solo travel has taught me so much. That being alone doesn't mean being lonely. That silence can be a friend. That the world is waiting, not just to be seen, but to be felt. I close my journal, finish my coffee, and look out at the fading light one last time. And softly, with a full heart, I whisper to myself, I'll be back someday. Now that you've traveled with me across Rome, Florence, and Venice, it's your turn. Here's your challenge for today, and I really encourage you to try it, even if it's just in your head or on paper. The challenge is describing your own dream vacation using at least 3 of the phrases or words you learned in this episode. It doesn't have to be long or perfect. Just imagine it. Where would you go? What would you see? What would the air smell like? What would you eat? Try saying your story out loud, writing it in your notebook, or even leaving a voice note for yourself. You can also share your story in the comments or send it to someone you trust. This kind of practice makes a huge difference. And remember, learning English isn't just about rules or grammar. It's about feeling something, expressing something, and using language to connect with your experiences. So go ahead, give it a try. Let your imagination travel, and let your English grow along the way. And that brings us to the end of our journey together today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on this special episode of English Phrases Hub. I hope my solo travel story not only inspired your imagination, but also gave you some real useful English you can use in your everyday conversations and future adventures. All right, now let's go over some of the useful vocabulary and natural phrases from the first scene of our story. I'll explain each one and give you a short, easy sentence so you can understand how to use it. Feel free to pause after each one and repeat it out loud. It really helps with speaking confidence. Suitcase. A suitcase is a container with a handle used for carrying clothes and personal items while traveling. Example: I packed all my clothes into one suitcase. We also use the word luggage to refer to all the bags and suitcases you take on a trip. Luggage is a general, uncountable term that includes suitcases, backpacks, and other travel bags. Example: my luggage was heavy, but I managed to carry it. Suitcase is a countable noun, so you can say one suitcase, two suitcases, etc. Luggage is an uncountable noun, so we don't say a luggage or two luggages. Instead, say a piece of luggage or two pieces of luggage. Pack my bags. To put everything you need into a suitcase or backpack before a trip. I always pack my bags the night before I travel. Flight. The journey on an airplane from one place to another. My flight to Rome took around 10 hours. Boarding pass. A document or digital ticket that allows you to get on the airplane. I showed my boarding pass at the gate before boarding. Hop in. A taxi. A casual way of saying get into a vehicle. I hopped in a taxi and gave the driver my hotel address. First impressions. Your initial thoughts or feelings when you see something for the first time. My first impressions of the city were amazing. It was so full of life. Solo travel. Traveling alone, without friends or family. Solo travel helps you discover more about yourself. Buzz in the air. An energetic or exciting atmosphere, especially in busy places. There was a buzz in the air at the airport. People were excited to travel. Straight out of a movie. Used to describe something beautiful or unbelievable, like a film scene. The narrow streets and fountains looked straight out of a movie. Feel the streets beneath my feet. A vivid expression for walking through a new place and connecting with it. I love to walk around and feel the streets beneath my feet. Ancient ruins, stone fountains, old structures from history, common in cities like Rome. Rome is full of ancient ruins and beautiful stone fountains. Roasted coffee, fresh bread, describing delicious smells often found in European cities. The air smelled like roasted coffee and fresh bread. It was perfect. Scooters weaving through traffic. A common sight in cities like Rome. Small scooters moving quickly between cars. I saw scooters weaving through traffic as we drove through the city. Old world charm, a feeling of classic, traditional beauty, often in historic places. Rome has an old world charm that's hard to describe. Nice work. These phrases and vocabulary are super useful for describing your own travel experiences. And that's the end of today's journey. Thanks for traveling with me. I hope you enjoyed the story and picked up some useful English along the way. Don't forget to grab the free worksheet in the description with today's vocabulary and practice exercises. If you liked this episode, please subscribe, like, and share it with a friend. See you next time.